Y'all know what time it is. It's the man with the master plan. I'm here to turn it out with the mic in my hand. Y'all know what time it is. It's the man with the master plan. I'm here to turn it out with the mic in my hand.
Never see me, don't want you anymore. Colors fading into all that I want. Memories brimming, I hope you know. I am waiting eternally for you. Lying thoughts, you make me dream of bliss. Greed and more and nothing is alright. Fears compressing my stomach, yeah. You gotta make me more and forever. I can't believe this is a dream. My lucid orb is fading bright. I can't believe it was a dream. So hard to recognize myself. I can't believe this is a dream. Is this the way we end up? I can't believe it was a dream. Flashback, it's all I got in my hands. Violet's call, you know what this means. I have been always there for you. Now I'm ready to dive in, taking some milk for sure, 'cause this is way I am. Spatial patterns deep inside of me. Lose yourself, accumulated ground. All I know is my soul unbreakable. Let it put fire and watch till shape is gone. I can't believe this is a dream. My lucid orb is fading bright. I can't believe it was a dream. So hard to recognize myself. I can't believe this is a dream. Is this the way we end up? I can't believe it was a dream. Flashback is all I got in my hands. I can't believe this is a dream. My lucid orb is fading bright. I can't believe it was a dream. So hard to recognize myself. I can't believe this is a dream. Is this the way we end up? I can't believe it was a dream. Flashback is all I got in my hands. Something's changed, and I didn't know you're slipping away. Everything is strange. Please don't let go. Sleep away the day. Dream it off. The end of love doesn't have
Hello, everybody. I'm playing NieR. Okay, I can't hear it. Cool. We're gonna be continuing where we left off, and I think hopefully finishing this game today, which would be nice. That way I can start something new on Monday. Gotta figure out. Oh, you know what? I know what we're starting on Monday. Okay. Spooky told me what we're starting on Monday. So yeah, we are going to be doing ending E today. Oh, good, that worked. All right, last time we were playing through ending D, which required us to completely delete our save file. So we started a brand new one, got up to the point where we killed Hooktail for the first time, and then we woke up as Kaine. And it turns out it was all a dream of some sort. Oh, and you know what I just noticed? She's not wearing her bandages anymore. Cause Tyran's gone, so she's just got a naked arm and leg. Sort of. She still has like the warmer on there. All right, let's get to it. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Well, I have some idea, cause I think this story is derived from the ending E outlined in Grimoire NieR. I had tears in my eyes when I woke up this morning. I must have had a really sad dream. Maybe I'll talk to Kaine about it next time I see her. So Yona's writing diary entries again, and she also woke up with tears as we did last time. Oh, look at that! There's some shades out and about.
Come here, you annoying little bastards.
Are they gonna attack me? Yep, they're gonna attack me still. Oh my goodness.
Every last one of you. Feels like there's a lot of shades around lately. Maybe I should check in on Yona's village.
I doubt they're actually gonna drop much, if anything, in terms of stuff. Oh, my captions are not on. Hold on. Hold on. Running. We're running. How's that? Can we see my captions now? Can we see them? I'm still talking. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I see a big boy over to our left.
Die, damn you! Die!
Oh, jeez.
Hey, get back! It's dangerous here.
I think that's my line, buddy.
Ah. I wonder what kind of... Do I have... Okay, I have some medicinal. I didn't steal my, either file's amount of items or whatever. Oh, excuse me. I probably have it locked on. That way I'm not flailing too much around. You okay?
Thanks for the save.
Shades have been on the rise around here lately. Now go home.
Oh, believe me, I want to. Thing is, I've got a job to take care of. See, we haven't been able to get in touch with anyone in the Forest of Myth.
Oh dear.
Somebody's got to go over there and make sure they're all right.
And that someone is you. You will make it 10 feet before some shade mauls your ass. I'll go.
What? Really? Oh, man. Thanks a million. Oh, wait. You should take these.
Healing items. Yep. Called
I'll
it.
wait for you around here. And thanks again.
Okay. We're supposed to go that way. I want to go see if I can go into the village, though. And actually talk to Yona. I wonder if I'm still getting experience from these guys. Hold on. Yeah, I still have experience. And it's still going down. It's actually about to... Yeah, there we go. Chose the right time to ask that, as usual.
Village seems fine. I'll just freak everybody out if I go in there anyway.
Alright. Let's go. I was actually about to go into a little more Kaine's backstory, but I don't know if we're actually going to see that or not, considering we're playing as her. So I don't think I will for the time being. Oh, so she Naruto runs, and that is just the best. No boar? No boar anymore? It's sad. Unless the shades, like, took it out while I wasn't paying attention. But I would be surprised if any of the animals were left at this point, considering the shades were very hostile towards them. There we go. Okay, that should be good. All right.
Hey, anybody home?
Oh dear. All right, we're gonna save first. Hopefully we don't have to go into too much of a text adventure, but jeez.
Shit.
There's not even any boxes for me to. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, just a lot of What
are those things doing here? Wait, did they kill the villagers?
What the heck? Okay, so they're at least reskinned enemies from the factory. Wish I could say I knew what was going on.
Come on, more? They just keep on coming.
We're actually
Why would
gonna
robots be coming out of a place like that?
We're actually gonna be going into the tree finally, which I kind of figured we would eventually. It looked like a passageway, but I wasn't entirely sure. I don't think I checked you. Yep. And you're the village elder.
Robots suddenly emerged from that divine tree.
And he's down for the count. Okay. Just please don't be a text adventure. Let me kill things with my sword. Oh, thank
What the hell's
goodness.
going on here? What's a place like this doing inside a tree?
I think we actually might get into the thing I mentioned a little while ago, where the tree isn't actually a tree.
Welcome to the Sea of Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the cemetery of sin and punishment.
The hell?
You are a replicant.
A manufactured existence.
Individual name, Kaine.
Oh.
Who are you? Show yourselves.
Remain calm.
Do not be hasty.
Soon we shall
Oh.
meet.
Dear.
Creepy little freaks.
This is an integrated information management database designed to resemble a perennial plant.
It transmits phenomena recorded in its memory unit.
I don't understand a damn thing you're saying.
Observations of you have been recorded as well.
You brought an end to Project Gestalt.
You killed the original Gestalt. Now the remaining Gestalts run wild because they have nowhere left to go.
I think that the male voice, the male sounding voice, the deeper sounding voice, if you will, I think that's 9S's voice actor.
Your actions have caused the deaths of countless replicants.
Show your damn faces already!
Do not be hasty. Soon we shall meet.
Soon we shall meet.
I don't know about the other voice though. Maybe Yona? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as we discussed before, the tree isn't just a tree. It's actually a giant computer that has root-like tubes going everywhere. Oh my goodness. Well, I can use that and take that. Defense capsule. Alright. Health salve, spirit capsule. I don't know why they gave me a spirit capsule. Oh, that has magic damage. Okay, never mind. Oh, this is boss arena. Oh wow, she looks so good. It is so good with this port. This remaster, rather. Okay. I might be reading into this, but they really do look like...
How nice of you to join us.
Yes, how nice of you to join us.
They really do look like a young 9S and 2B. And just like Kaine, she cuts first and asks questions only when she's required to.
We won't get anywhere like this.
Now then, let us fight.
Oh. Well, hello, Pipe Man.
My name is Maelstrom.
What the hell are you saying?
We are the administrators.
The administrators of this
jeez.
forest.
What the sweet crap is up with these freaks?
We have long been watching.
We have long been listening.
The stories of recycled vessels.
The voice of the recycled world.
Oh.
What will you show us?
Will you show us your potential?
Entertain us.
Worthless heap of scrap!
Is that entertaining enough? Okay, they needed to move it so I could
Truly fascinating you are.
move on through here.
You are just as we expected.
Come this way.
Well, I can't go backwards, so guess we're moving forwards. Healing items at some point. Ooh, pretty. Oh goodness.
You are strong. We have taken the liberty of sampling that strength.
I might know what this is supposed to be leading to. Also, I think I know what this is, because yeah, I got spoiled with the like that.
Are those things me?
Caption. Oh, but they all have 2 swords. Please don't tell me it's gonna be like. Huh.
If you wanted me to follow any of this, you're gonna be real fucking disappointed.
Your comprehension is unnecessary. After all you care for is killing. Is this not so?
These other me's are brittle as hell. I ought to be insulted.
It matters not how many copies you destroy. They will simply disperse and immediately reconstruct themselves. There is still much fun to be had. We have finally come to an end.
God damn, you're annoying. I'm gonna tear these freaks apart, eat the pieces, and shit them into a trash can.
That's our Kaine. Yeah, if they really want to copy her, all these things should be swearing at me the whole time.
Have we reached the end?
Sean, hi Spooky.
Damn it.
How unfortunate.
Thank you for the lurk, I appreciate it. Have fun at Peter's tonight. Also, major spoilers right now.
You little fuckers.
Oh. Oh, hey.
Kaine! Are you okay?
Emil?
You betcha! Anywho. It's good to see you safe.
You got an upgrade since we last met.
Yeah.
I sense tremendous power in that magic circle.
Oh, hey, a
it's
box.
acting as an energy source.
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
If we can destroy it, all the other Kaines should disappear too.
Got it.
I'll take care of the magic circle.
Stop running.
You focus on kicking some Kaine butt. I mean, the other Kaine's butts. Not your Kaine butt. You, the real Kaine.
Yeah, I get it, Emil. Just focus.
Number 7. A magical weapon forged by humans.
A being who absorbed the power of number 6 and transcended humanity. Who is that? What are those voices?
Just a couple of little fucks.
Oh, I should have put like a strong language warning on my VODs for this game. Not that I can fucking monetize them anyway. Because of, I think this song in
It feels like
particular.
it's been forever since we fought together.
This seems familiar. I think there was someone else who used to fight with us. My memories are...
Unusual phenomenal fluctuation observed.
Singularity signature detected in replicant Kaine.
Fascinating.
Terribly fascinating.
We good? I think we're good.
Kaine! I did it!
Yay. Any more boxes around? I can get some health items. Just like before we move on. Ah, here we go. No reason to leave it there, right? Oh,
Is that a doorway?
cubes. That's even more interesting. Okay.
Beyond here lies that which was lost. The final hope for you to reclaim.
Can I stop by? But then left right away. She said she just wanted to see my face.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
What
Okay.
is this place? At least there don't seem to be any bad guys around.
Emil, I didn't get a chance to ask yet with all the fighting and shit, but what happened to you back then? And where have you been? And why the hell do you have 4 arms?
Kaine, Look, it's gonna take way too long to get into all that now.
Fine. I was worried, you know?
Aw, Kaine. But look at us now. Team Camille, back together again.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, kind of spoilers for Automata, I guess. There's an area in it that's very similar to the structure here, which is interesting to say the absolute least. Huh. Oh, and we are at the garden, I think. Oh no, this doesn't look. It doesn't really look like the garden we were
Kaine.
familiar with.
I feel like I've forgotten something really important.
Tell me about it.
You too?
Yeah, I can't really describe it, but it's like my mind is filled with this weird fog.
I think I made a promise to somebody? Like that we would go eat something delicious?
Well then, we'll just have to get those memories back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a recreation because this is where the doves were in that garden in the Shadow Lord's palace. Covers ocean, very nice. And then this is where we, enter the actual, full palace thing. But it's all recreated, which is very interesting. And now there's a big staircase that wasn't here before. Oh, and there's a whole recreated city down there. This is so
Feel an
weird.
enormous magical power ahead.
Just don't do anything rash. Got it?
Got it. Same goes for you, Kaine. I don't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah.
Well, at least as long as one of you survives, you got Yona. Okay, here's a hallway that we're kind of familiar with. Could have given me something a little more than, 5 herbs in 1 salve, considering how useful so many herbs.
Is this the Shadow Lord's castle?
It's definitely a recreation of it.
Kaine, I'm sensing some powerful magic up ahead.
This is a very special place. To you and to the world.
Yeah, there's the bed. Oh,
That is the core frame of this forest, within which a great variety of information is stored. Inside it exists all that this world is, including the memories you have lost.
You're
don't get to decide who lives and who dies.
That voice. It's the one from my dreams.
I've heard that voice before.
These are your memories.
We made it this far because you were with us, Kaine.
Damn it. What is this?
Do you suffer? Are you pained?
Shut the fuck up!
Pathetic fucking shitpurse! Just die already!
That's a different loading screen. That's a grid, just like in Automata. There's something weird going on here.
Where am I? Emil.
These are your memories. These are your records. This is your world.
This is amazing. I don't know what's happening, but this is amazing.
The hell is this?
Sweet memories from deep within.
Hidden memories that were sealed away.
Shades?
Shades. Human souls that have gone gestalt.
These shades are but data reproduced via your records. They are the true humans who slaughtered on your journey.
You are a foreign entity in this world.
An error created by a discrepancy between memory and record.
I have not understood a single fucking thing you shitty little ass grabbers have said since we started this goddamn adventure.
Oh, are they? Stop doing that. They are absolutely dropping things in here, so that's good. BP? BP, wait, that's enough. No, I can't live without you. Oh dear God. Okay. I don't want to be alone again.
God damn it. Enough with this bullshit already.
You have heard many voices.
Fear, hate, rage, suffering.
Each of them has meaning.
Is this kind of like a mini boss rush or something? Starting to seem like it. We are incomplete, but our friends make us whole. We are mocked, abused, and hated, but our friends keep us strong. This is what keeps us going. I probably just eat that. Do not stand in the way of our lives. Ow.
Stop it, stop it, stop it! I killed Shades. That's all there is to it.
This is the deepest place in your memories.
Memories you had sealed away.
And this one is your worst memory.
one last fight with good old Testicle Beard.
I'll kill you as many times as it takes. You goddamn shit fucking despicable piece of garbage!
Upgraded the data that was recreated from your memories. Can you defeat this nightmare?
Shut your goddamn traps for one goddamn second and let me kill it already!
Efforts are futile. Cannot be stopped. There is no escaping this nightmare.
Someone else was there when I first fought this bastard. Fuck. Why can't I remember?
I mean, when you first fought him, it was grandmother. I think you remember that. What the? Oh.
This is some twisted shit right here, and you're gonna pay! I won't lose to you.
Lot going on. And if this is a callback to Automata, I'm not going to be happy about it. Okay. Alright, we're all good.
Uh-oh. I think it's charging up its magic. Get the fuck down here, you worthless, piss-guzzling shit rag!
Yeah, I can't hit that. I don't know what they were expecting me to do there. Connie doesn't have a book to
Okay,
shoot.
that hurt.
Oh, that walk cycle. Uh-oh.
Get out, half-breed. You disgust me. You disgust us all. We don't want you. Just leave us in peace.
I don't know if I actually have a health bar right now or not.
Enough already! Please, just shut
I can
up.
tell you I can't attack him. And it definitely looks like I'm getting juggled a little bit too much. I don't know if that was scripted or not. Doesn't quite seem like it, but... Oh, maybe it was. Alright, here we go. When Kaine's eyes fluttered open, she sees a dozen villagers quizzically staring back. After a moment, she realizes she collapsed on the ground, where sharp stones dig into her flesh, like, whatever. It's not important right now. She pulls herself to a knee before rising on unsteady feet and sparing a glance at her surroundings. The fuck? She mutters. What happened? Wasn't I just fighting shades? Her mind races as her hand gropes unconsciously for the blade that has been her constant companion for so very long. Though she can't explain it, it's clear she has somehow been transported to an entirely different world. If we're gonna have more scenes like that, I need to turn my light down again. Well, not entirely new. She recognizes a hawk-shaped weather vane twisting slowly in the wind above her, as well as the small, round homes with whiffs of smoke drifting in the air. And of course, there are the villagers currently staring at her with a mixture of fear and disgust. Oh yes, they're a familiar sight indeed. She is in the Eyrie. She is home. Is something the matter, girl? Kind spins around at the voice and sees a woman ravaged by time. Her narrow hips barely seem strong enough to hold her body upright, while the shawl wrapped around her thin frame appears ready to fall apart at any moment. Grandma? Is that really you? Her grandmother's eyes grow almost comically wide before blinking several times in succession. What's wrong, you fool girl? Is your head lost in a dream? In dreams? Dreams? Could this be a dream? But it feels so real. But she's dead. Grandma's dead. I watched that goddamn Shade kill her. So if this isn't a dream, how the hell is she here? Unless those Shades killed me too. That must be it. I'm dead. I'm dead, and this is... Oh, stop with that nonsense already. Kane flinches as her grandmother raises a hand in the air, expecting pain to come as correction for her foolishness. Don't hit your kids. But instead of a blow, her grandmother simply places the hand upon her granddaughter's cheek. The warmth of it is instantly spreads from her cheek to her face, before filling her entire body with a kind of beautiful light. What's wrong, girl? She asks her grandmother. I don't know why I'm having such trouble reading today. Are you upset? Do you want to go home? Kinda feels tears coming to her eyes and struggles to hold them back. She still has no idea what's happening. She knows one thing for certain. This is her grandmother. So sorry, Grandma. Not sure where my head was at there. Well, just make sure you keep it attached. Her grandmother chuckles as she pulls her hand away. Maybe this is a dream. Maybe I'm already dead. I don't know. But either way, I'm not alone. As long as Grandma's with me, that's enough. Didn't I tell you to stop spacing out, girl? Her grandmother says with a cackle. Here now, hold this. She hands Kane a large sack filled to bursting with all manners of fruits and vegetables. Damn, Grandma, this is a lot. Well, it's important to treat yourself every now and again. Besides, these villagers may hate us, but the bastards are more than willing to take our money. We'll lend support as we can, even if they have to hold their noses while we do it. Her grandmother trails off as if trying to remember something, then slowly turns around. Well, what do you know? In all the excitement, I forgot to buy my medicine. A thin smile wavers on her face for a moment before vanishing into a lifetime's worth of crevices and wrinkles, causing Kane to take a concerned step forward. No, Grandma, that's fine. You go home and rest. I'll get the medicine. Her grandmother hesitates, clearly trying to weigh her own need for the rest against her granddaughter's odd behavior of the moment. But before she can start to argue, Kane charges ahead, ignoring the small voice in her head that's telling her what a bad idea all of this is. Really, Grandma, it's fine. Go home. I've got this. She pulls her grandmother's ancient wallet from her fingers, an act that requires a surprising amount of strength. Besides, you know how stubborn I am. Once my mind is set, there's no changing it. Huh, I wonder where you got that from. Seeing that further argument will be useless, her grandmother slowly turns and begins the long journey home. Kane watches the figure recede from her vision, waiting for what seems an eternity to ensure everything is alright. Once the frail shadow finally vanishes over the horizon, she turns on a heel and makes for the apothecary. I really didn't want to read more. I didn't think there would be more reading. Why didn't I think there was going to be more reading? Of course there's going to be more reading. Ho there, says the elderly apothecary as Kane enters the store. Here for Kelly's medicine, are you? Though few villagers had even bothered to learn her grandmother's name, she and the apothecary were old friends. Perhaps that was the reason he'd always showed her kindness when so many others did not. Yeah, if it's not a bother. The shopkeeper immediately sets about his work. Deftly? Pulling bottles and herbs from the shelves and mixing them with a practiced hand. Soon a particular smell begins to drift through the store, and one that immediately reminds Kane of her childhood. There you are, says the apothecary as he holds out a small cloth bag. Sorry for the wait. Oh, and say, it's a fine portrait you drew your grandmother. Looks just like her. So it does. Honestly, I've never seen Kali so over the moon about anything. She brags about it every time she stops by. You saw that? Says Kane, her eyes narrowing. Said portrait was something she had whipped up in one day after getting her hands on some crayons and calling it rough would be an act of pure generosity. The idea her grandmother was displaying it around town makes Kaine's stomach want to sink down to her feet before slinking off into a hole somewhere. You bet I saw it, the pleased apothecary says. She brought it all the way here just to show me. But it's been such a long time since I've seen something so wonderful. Kaine's mind begins to whirl. The picture was shit. She was sure it was shit. And yet the man's reaction displayed the exact opposite opinion. Is he just being nice to me? The apothecary, as if sensing her skepticism, doubles down. Can really tell you put your heart into it. It was simply wonderful. Thanks, offers Kaine, who just wants the entire conversation to be over. She briefly considers how she was going to take her grandmother to make her grandmother cease her little traveling art show, but then realizes that train has likely left the station. Shaking her head to banish her increasingly shrill thoughts, she grips the bag of medicine tightly and turns to leave. But just as she reaches the door, she hears a loud thud from somewhere in the back of the shop. Kaine turns around to see the apothecary crouching on the floor. Hey there, you okay? When the man does not reply, Kaine moves towards him. She assumes he just slipped on something, or perhaps hit his head on one of the lower hanging shelves in the crowded shop. But the moment she draws close to him, she hears him begin to scream inside her mind. My leg! My leg! My leg! My leg! Oh God, where is my leg? Kaine, panicked, looks down and discovers the man's leg is gone. Help me! Screams the voice in her head. Help me! As Kaine looks on in horror, the man's fingers begin to shrivel and vanish. He reaches out for her with his other hand, only to find that it too is no longer there. Soon his arms go, then his legs, then the side of his face warbles out of existence, causing a stray eyeball to roll out of its socket onto the floor. Oh my goodness. I did not expect this to get so gruesome. Yeah, says the voice, as it could even be called that anymore. I can. A moment later, what remains of the pitiful shopkeeper collapses into a heap of ash, releasing a small puff into the suddenly silent air. He got... Would have been the chlorination stuff, right? Wouldn't be white chlorination syndrome. As Kaine stumbles back in horror, she hears a cacophony of terror rising up outside. Oh God, what's happening? My arms! Where are my arms? Why can't I see? Kaine bursts out of the store and finds herself in a nightmare. Homes slough off the sides of cliffs, taking out pieces of scaffolding as they fall. Screams echo out of everywhere, creating an opera fit for hell. Villagers run in mad circles before exploding into dust, their clothing drifting this way and that as it floats untethered through the air. As she stares at the scene wide-eyed, a single thought suddenly inserts itself into the forefront of her mind. Grandma! Kaine breaks into a run, the crumbling world around her suddenly forgotten. She leaps from one piece of falling debris to the next, using them as stepping stones to cross a world that is increasingly losing cohesion. As she continues her mad dash, flecks of ash are blown into her face, her mouth, her eyes. Ash. Ash, ash, ash. Buildings and people all reduced to so many cinders in the wind. I have no idea what's going on. Soon she arrives at her childhood home. It was once a place filled with precious memories. A place she regarded as an oasis in an increasingly mad world, but now it is nothing more than a pile of ash. As she gapes unbelievably at the sight, a faint sound suddenly reaches her ears. Kaine? She's alive. Grandma's alive. I mean, it doesn't really sound like it's going to be long, though. With a speed born out of panic, she leaps into the giant pile and begins shoving it aside. It stings her eyes and burns her lungs, but she continues, heedless of the danger. Finally, she pulls a small blackened form out of the darkness. Come on, Grandma, she whispered. We're getting out of here. Without waiting for a response, Kaine gathers her grandma in her arms and breaks into a mad run, hoping to escape the chaos. But the wave of ash has become a tsunami, and before she can make it more than a few desperate steps, it reaches out with a cruel hand and overwhelms them. Kaine stumbles and falls, sending her and her grandmother tumbling into the ash. One glance at her feet is enough to reveal the culprit. Her right leg has vanished at a point just below the knee. "Oh, it'll take more than that to stop me," mutters Kaine as she slings her grandma over her shoulder and begins to crawl away. "We're going to make it. We're going to live." As she crawls, her grandmother seems to grow lighter, as if trying to magically reduce the weight of her own burden. As Kaine continues to struggle, she hears a small, soft voice enter her ear. Thank you, Kaine. As the voice drifted away, the last of the pile of ash that used to be her grandmother drifts away on the soft breeze. Kaine screams in a possibly sad and lonely sound and begins trying to pull the ashes back to her. This can't be happening. It can't be happening. But the ashes are mingling with all the other detritus from the collapsed village, and soon she can no longer tell which particles belong to who. Come on. Come the fuck on already. As she continues her frantic digging, her hand suddenly closes around a piece of soft, ragged fabric. Her grandmother's shawl. I knew this place was a lie. I knew it, and I still couldn't do anything. I couldn't save anyone. I couldn't even escape. I just felt the peace in the place, and I accepted it. I wanted it. That's why there was nothing here. No reason to live. No goal. No anything. So this is why I'm... Suddenly a new voice enters Kaine's world.
I say, can you hear me?
Oh. After a moment, the voice calls out again, louder, clearer.
Now then, you wish to get him back, hmm?
Him? Replied Kaine. Who are you talking about?
For the love of all the heavens, I always did know you were a handful.
Though the voice immediately began to grate Kaine's nerves, there was something else as well. A kind of warmth. Almost a familiarity.
Are you truly so daft that you have already forgotten one of your beloved traveling companions and friends?
Says the voice, which causes something deep in Kaine's memories to surge forth. That's right. I had friends, and I was fighting to get one of them back. But not the other one. At this realization, a blinding, radiant beam of light shoots out across the ash-covered world. Covering her eyes with one trembling hand, Kaine reaches for it.
Do hurry back now, hussy.
That's actually, like, kind of sweet, even though I kind of don't like the fact that he uses the word hussy so much. Oh, yeah, that looks good.
What is the matter? Do you still not remember?
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if they forgot Vice or not, actually.
You've not time to become lost in your thoughts.
Right. Okay. Let's get him back!
To actually have Vice now, can I switch out my weird attacks for the magic ones? However, my Vice grants you the use of magic.
Use my magic to topple the beast. I presume you know how to use magic, yes? Then give us a show, hussy.
I don't need your help to take out this goddamn fuckwaffle!
Use my power to knock the creature down with magic. Well done. Now clobber the beast.
Let's fuck it up good! Shit, this thing is tough.
Let the next onslaught be our last.
Hey, Vice.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have you been in your cups again?
Fuck your face.
That's more like it.
Ah. Get down here, you jerk. I do hope this is like the final boss of the game, because that would be really fitting for Kaine's story at least.
You sound remind, hussy. What you're attempting is extremely...
Cram it, book. I'm doing this.
I see.
Can I? Yeah, we can switch. Actually, do I? No, it's just items still. I was wondering if we had the book pages back.
Let not your resolution waver before mere illusions again, hussy.
Don't worry. I'll do what needs to be done.
I'm honestly just letting the auto-targeting go wild here, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Well, looks like we got it all at least.
Do not relent in your assault.
Time to close this out!
Let us finish this.
Oh, it's so finished now. Oh, that looks really cool.
So this is a replicant's potential.
Don't go. Gotta go back. Don't go.
Shut up, shut up! I already made up my mind. Nobody tells me what to do. I swore I would be a sword. I swore that I would be your sword. Do you hear me? So I am going to get you back, and I don't care what it takes. Who the fuck do you think you are to just up and disappear like that, huh? I'm the one who gets to decide what my life means to me. It's my life, and I'll do whatever I want with it. So quit wasting time like a brainless fuckwit and get your ass back here now!
Do you want to recover the person you cherish? Yes. If you choose this option, your current save data will be erased and the save data deleted from ending D will be restored. Are you sure about this? Yes. I unfortunately got spoiled for this while trying to make sure I could do ending E. And I'm very upset about it. But, oh well. This is pretty nuts considering how Yoko Taro really likes to make you delete your save data. Once your save data has been restored, the save data will be erased. So you can only choose this option once. Are you really sure? Yes. Are you really sure about this? Yes. Who is the name of the person you cherish? NieR. The correct name was entered. All save files will be restored. Wow. This is actually amazing. I kind of hope there's a new Game Plus option so I can actually go back and do the side quests from the first part of the game, but we'll see. I feel like I need to see all the tutorials coming back. I also don't really care about the fishing records, to be honest. Select a file to restore the lost save data to. Well, that's the one we started to do ending E. So maybe saving it to data slot number 2 is the best idea. And then maybe I can do ending E again if I feel like it with this one.
I leave the rest to you, hussy.
Wow. Oh. What do we have here?
Our journey may have been meaningless.
Did he de-age?
Our past may have been a mistake.
But
Yep.
we're not going back.
Even if this world comes to an end.
Because this is the world with the people we cherish.
Oh my god, it's a giant flower. Oh my god. Holy shit. Flowers are obviously a huge part in the NieR franchise. Mostly the Lunar Tier. But there's also Drakengard 3 where the flowers actually... Spoilers for Drakengard 3 if you care about that. A flower is actually like the main antagonist. Wow. Okay. Well, that was kind of amazing. I really wish I wasn't spoiled by the spoiled of the fact that you end up getting NieR back and you get your save data back. Would have been nice to experience that instead of having it spoiled for me while looking up the way to get ending E, but whatever. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna end up doing now is reading the weapon stories, which I unfortunately did not upgrade all the weapons myself, so pardon me. Yeah, I won't be able to show you on my game. I'll probably have to look it up so we can check it there, and I'm just going to try to fix something really quick. Just lower that a little bit. Okay, hopefully that works out well. Yeah, we'll have to read them online, but that's not much of a problem, I guess. Wow. That ending did feel like a lot, and I feel like I need a lot of it explained to me, to be honest. But I'm glad I'm done with it, and I think that's everything new they added. I really like that they added in the short stories about Kaine, about Emil into the main game. A little upset they didn't add everything, though, because I know there's more that I could probably look up. Let me see. Let's try looking at this. Grimoire NieR. Yes, Grimoire NieR is a book published exclusively in Japan that includes further insight into NieR. It features illustrations and images, character profiles, and concept designs, story digests with screen caps, play-by-play guides, weapons, 10 short stories, and more. So let's... While this is going, I'm gonna open up a bunch of tabs and my computer's gonna hate me for it. How we doing, Streamlabs? Do you hate me yet? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. Let's see. And then there were none. That's a lot of reading. Okay. I wish there was a plot synopsis on this page. I think, and then there were none, and then there were none is the Vice short story, it looks like. The Stone Flower. The Stone Flower is another Halua Emil story, it looks like. Thanks for the trophy, Yoko Taro. I'm sorry, what? Okay. All right. Thanks, I guess. Let's see here. Okay. The Red and Black. Looks like a short story about Yona and NieR, if I'm not mistaken. A Little Princess, I think, is the King of Facade and Fira. The Magic Mountain, I think, is about Jacob and Gideon's mother, it seems. The Witch's Sabbath. Looks like a Kaine related thing, but I'm unsure. The Little Mermaid. That's just waiting to be sued by Disney. NieR and possibly Shadow Lord. Straight is the gate. Around the world in 80 days. The Lost World. Okay. For anyone interested, I'm going to post a link in chat. That is for all of the Grimoire NieR short stories, it seems. If anyone would like to go and read those, I'll probably do the same myself. Cool. A party greeting has been added to the options menu. Visit that woman's house to acquire a new weapon. I might as well, right? Ah, heck, there's a new thing. Okay. Okay. We got a screen cap in case I need that for later. A party greeting.
All right.
A parting
Is everybody here?
greeting.
Present and accounted for.
You betcha.
Sure.
All right then. Dear players, the game is over, and we have a special message for you. Thank you for playing.
Fuck's sake.
Yona, why aren't you in bed?
Oh, hey! It's my big brother. I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to miss this. Try and take it easy on her, okay? Yeah. You wouldn't turn down a request from your adorable little sister, would ya?
Popola, Devila, you're here too?
Looks like you're having yourself a grand old time, sunshine!
Okay, who was that?
Shut up, Tyrion. You'll just make things complicated.
We haven't all the time in the world, Let us finish what we came here to do.
So, it's really gonna be over, huh? Does that make anyone else feel sad?
We have to say goodbye eventually. But hey, I'm sure we'll meet again.
You really think so?
I'm getting hungry over here. Want to hurry this up?
All right. Once again, from the top.
Dear players, the game is over, and we have a special message for you. Ready? 1, 2... Thank you for playing!
Okay, that was actually fucking adorable. So two things we didn't actually go over at all, I guess, was... I guess his name is Tyrion, not Tyran. Tyrion was one of the scientists in charge of the project that Emil was a part of. But he was overly abusive towards Emil in particular, eventually fired and hunted down. And somehow, I forget how, but he became a Shade at some point through the, Gestalt project, obviously. And I think we went over the tree already. How it's actually the tree was a computer that was supposed to absorb humanity's thoughts, I guess. It didn't save the fact that I completed file C, but that's fine because that was technically a different file. Whatever. If I want to, I can get I can get ending C and then go and do ending D and then get ending E to restore everything again if I want to. It's fine. I do want to go get something really quick because it mentioned going back somewhere for something. It might take me a little while to run all the way back down. But we'll just have to do that to do this. But yeah. That's the ending of NieR. It honestly felt too short, if you ask me. But I did a bunch of the side quests not on stream, so I guess that might be why. What can you do? Last night you told me stories, so I fell asleep. I don't remember anything, but boy was I happy. I think that's a new one. Excuse me. I'm not here to fight you. In fact, I'm here to leave. Goodbye. might go and see what weapons I can get upgraded to. Also, I'm surprised the only outfits we have are the Yorha ones, the Kabuki stuff, and the Samurai stuff. I thought they would let us get, like, way more outfits, but oh well. We've seen the fish one already. You.
Oh, there.
Bring us to, I guess, the Northern Plains, because we need to go to the Airy and then double back and head back up to the junkyard. Junk heap? Whatever. Also, Giant Flower made me think that was actually going to be what launches the thing onto the moon in Automata, but there's also a short story that I don't know if it was mentioned or not in this at all. Now that I think about it, or maybe it was one of the ones on that site that I sent you. But there's a short story that takes place after the events of this game, where Emil fights off an alien invasion, mostly by himself. And I don't want to spoil too much, but some of that plays into Automata. Also, Accord needs her own game. There it is. Obtain the one-handed sword, Kaine's sword. What do you think of that, Kaine? I took your sword. How about it? I'm a little upset that at least it seems like you can't have a save for NieR and then also save for Kaine. It's like one or the other, because you gotta delete your game to get ending D and then play the game again and then delete your save again to get ending E. It seems kind of messy to me. Whoops. Can't drop anything. Okay. Excuse me. Also, I wish after you finish the game, that'll let you pick which character you wanted to play as. That would be nice. I mean, we've seen the gameplay with Kaine, and in fact, we've seen gameplay with Kaine with Vice now, so. I don't see why they couldn't implement that in the main game. Even if you gotta fight Kaine in the end, you can just switch back to NieR. Or control boss Kaine. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. I doubt I have any upgrades for stuff right now, but I want to check. Sorry, it's the first time in a while I've written my diary to read my older entries. I just couldn't help myself. Do you have a quest for me, good sir, or do you just...
What to do, what to do.
Hey there.
Great. Things are great. Couldn't be better. Shades just took over the second floor of the junk heap is all.
You don't seem too concerned.
Doesn't matter. No one cares. Folks don't go in that far anyway. Just makes it hard to gather materials for my new weapons.
Okay. If you can't work on weapons, that affects me. I'm gonna go clear them out. Why not?
Shades tore up all the elevator machinery on the first floor. Ripped it up!
Can you make them?
I could if I had 5...
All right. I've got them.
Killed some... Here. Could you buy... What can I help you?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to see if I could upgrade anything. Let's see. Kaine's sword needs iron ore. We can do that. You need more iron ore? Okay.
Come. Could you buy the... What can I help you with?
We'll buy 22 for now.
Come. Could you buy... What can I help?
Oh, this is just increasing the magic power. Okay. Which I'm okay with. I need a broken saw and a bunch more iron ore. Okay. Beast Lord. Okay. Labyrinth Song. Okay. And Violax. And Violax. Dang. Okay. Oh, Beast Curse can level up. Heck yeah. Okay. Damascus Steel is hard to get. Memory Alloy is kind of hard to get. Eagle Egg, those are hard. Pyrite I could probably go grab. I'm not going to, but the option would be there. Fluorite is just a matter of like looking in the right places in there, so I could probably get that done eventually. Trying to see if any of these are just ore that I need, but it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, if any of it was just ore, I would be fine, but...
Come.
Okay. Weapons. One-handed sword. Does Kaine's sword have a story? It does. Interesting. Very interesting. But I don't have that leveled up all the way. I do have a lot of them leveled up all the way, but... Anyway. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Would like a whole thing, please. NieR weapons. Main article. Let me check something. Okay, it is there. Okay. So I think the rest of the stream, because I need to kill a bunch of time, because we've only been live for like an hour and a half, and that includes my countdown. I'm going to read the weapon stories, because I think they're interesting. I'll bet they're not super long each, but there is a lot of them. So if you want to stick around for that, cool. Thank you. If you're not going to stick around for that, I hope you have a wonderful night. We'll be playing Sonic Adventure tomorrow morning. But yeah, let me find the first weapon and we'll get into it. Nameless Blade. Okay, here we go. Smash, 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 smash. Sweat rolls down the faces of hard scrabble men as they chip away at iron stone. Their cheerful singing echoing through the mine. Ooh. Ooh, no thank you. We are the workers. Workers in the mine. Dirty from tip to toe. Again today we search for iron with all our might. Smash, 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 smash. Foom, 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 foom. The sound of women stomping on bellows in the mill. The sound of iron being gathered from the scorched sands. We are the workers, workers in the mill, workers who send wind. Today we stomp the bellows again with all of our might. Foom, 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 foom. Clang, 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 clang. The sound of swordsmiths wielding hammers at their forges. The ringing of such transformative blows is stunning indeed. We are the swordsmiths, swordsmiths who bring blades to life. Lords of steel. Clang, 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 clang. Rip, 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 rip. The sound of flesh being rent on the battlefield. The sound of killing enemies. Killing someone. Killing humans. Someone help me. It hurts. It hurts so much. Help me, mommy. Rip, 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 rip. Beautiful. Okay. On to Lily Leaf Sword. You know what, I'm actually gonna... Here we go. We'll do all, and I'll highlight the one we're on. That makes it easier, right? I love him with all my heart, as he does me. When we cross paths outdoors, he sends the signals with his eyes that only I can understand. He treasures my gifts so much, he keeps them locked away to be in a safe. Well, I couldn't ask for a better lover. I can't believe this. My best friend deceived the love of my life and stole him from me. One moment he was there, the next he was gone. All that remains are some of my gifts, which are scattered across his empty room. Everything else of value has been sold at a village marketplace. Ooh. I will not stand. This will not stand. He has abandoned me. He's just being tricked by that woman. I know he still has feelings for me. He must. I'm far more beautiful than she is, and he knows it. Oh yes, he knows. But I must make him see the truth, and quickly. I have to get her away from him. I have to kill her. Kill. Hurry up and kill. Consumed by her madness, the woman slaughtered the young husband and wife, hacking them with such force, the blade of her sword warped. Ooh. The woman then went into hiding, leaving behind only clumps of unrecognizable meat and a sword with a horribly bent blade. But no matter how many smiths attempt to repair the sword, it never regained the original shape. I think it might be worth it to actually, like, yeah, display it while I'm looking at it, so. Sorry, I did not fully plan this out like I probably should have. The girl had been betrothed at a local lord on the day of her birth. Ooh. As she grew up, her days were taken up by studying proper bridal technique, while her evenings were spent staring out of her bedroom window and offering prayers for her betrothed to the night sky. Oh my lord, if only you would come to me but a single day sooner. Her home was occupied by several other girls her age. Ooh. Each one shared the same betrothed, and spent her days studying bridal techniques, and her evenings praying to the night sky. Oh my lord, if only you would come to me but a single day sooner. One day, a quarrel broke out as the girls argued that only the greatest among them could become their lord's betrothed. None would yield an inch, each asserting only they alone could possibly satisfy him. Seeing this, their caretaker said in a kind voice, "Worry not, girls. Each and every one of you shall surely become bride to our lord." Hearing this, every face lit up with an expression of pure joy. On the day they were to be married, the girls were brought to a place of cobbled stone they could see from the windows of their home. A single dagger was then placed before them, and the girls were told that they need to end their life here and now if they wish to meet their betrothed. Upon hearing this news, the girls scrambled to seize the dagger from one another, plunging it into their chest the moment they held it. Years later, a temple named the Betrothed was built on the spot where the girls took their own lives. Beautiful. Thanks. Okay. On to Moonrise. There's a legend of long ago that speaks of a nation threatened by a great inferno. This nation, however, was saved from the eternal hellfire by a sword with the power to freeze anything. Around the sword stood thousands upon thousands of ice sculptures. A man on a journey to seek out weapons eventually discovered the sword. He wrapped it in several layers of cloth and took it with him, placing it in a bag that he carried upon his back. Before the man realized what was happening, the cloth, the sword, and his own body ended up frozen solid. A traveling shrine maiden eventually discovered the sword. She offered a prayer to her god and gripped the hilt, but cold instantly shot through her fingers and into her body, freezing her solid. In her final moments, the shrine maiden unleashed words of great blasphemy to the god who had failed her. An enslaved woman in a mine eventually discovered the sword. Desiring an easy death over the continuation of her daily suffering, she grasped the weapon firmly. While the woman did not freeze, she was also unable to pierce her own flesh. Soon, moonlight shone upon the blade of the weapon, reflecting the sight of the woman had been beaten and dragged away by her master. These weapon stories are a bad time. Okay, we got Rebirth now. I need a drink of water first, let's see. That's right. This here is the weapon that'll be ending your life. Oh, don't sweat it. There's nothing to worry about. It'll be a pain in the light switch you've never felt before. In fact, you won't even feel pain at first. It'll be more like the water sliding across your skin. Honestly, for most folks, it ain't the pain that makes them scream. It's the sight of their own blood flowing out of them. Ugh. Yeah, it won't end so easy. See, this part of the blade right here? This part hurts like a real son of a bitch. That's my favorite, which is why I always save it for last. I like to use it after people's voices get too hoarse. You can't tell what they're saying, which is real fucking hell. Are you ever loud? Mind piping down there? You're gonna make my hand slip. I won't kill you right away, so don't worry about a thing there, champ. I'm gonna take my sweet time before you finally give up the ghost. Honestly, you'd be surprised how much it takes to kill a person. I mean, think about it. People got 2 eyes, most of them anyway, and 2 ears, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 20 nails across the lot. And don't even get me started on joints, because folks got hundreds of damn things. Yeah, we got plenty of ways to keep ourselves entertained. Huh? Why am I doing this? Now that ain't a question. Buddy, I'm just doing what you've been doing for a good long while now. Nabbing innocent civilians on fake charges, torturing them, and putting their severed heads on display. That ring any bells, buddy? It should, because it was all you. Guess maybe you forgot about that, eh? Well, that's okay. I'll spend all the time it takes to make sure you remember every last thing you did to my wife and daughter. Heh heh. Okay. This is a weapon I used for a good while, which was Earthworm's Claw. An elderly scholar sits in the dim reference room of a moldy museum. Before him lies a single box in which has long been sealed away. It's an article of the museum's most museum's previous curator made abundantly clear should never be opened. It's said that the box contains a fossil that drinks the blood of humans. What foolishness. One would think we as a people would have outgrown such a nonsense. Only someone who spends all their life surrounded by books could possibly believe such a preposterous superstition. He opens the box, which spits forth a cloud of dust, and beholds a single stone in a bizarre shape. Looking at the attached handle, one could easily conclude that it used to be some manner of ceremony. It was used in some manner of ceremony. However, it could also be viewed as a weapon. And what a fascinating shape. Yes, this would require vigorous research indeed. How foolish everyone was to be afraid of something like this. The scholar chuckles softly to himself as he reaches up and gouges his left eye out with the fossil's tip. That's where it ends. Oh, this is gonna be good. We got Blade of Treachery next. The sisters were puppets of complex machinery. So fine was their construction that any who laid eyes upon them assumed they were human in every way. They were the embodiment of man's greatest technological achievements. They walked like humans, ate like humans, laughed like humans. The one thing they could not do, however, was shed tears, for they were not designed that way. Because the sisters were machines, they felt nothing. Oh, they might mourn as humans did, but they experienced not true sadness, for they did not know what sadness was. Even when their friends perished in tragic accidents and their creator died of disease, they felt nothing. To the sisters, all it meant was those people no longer existed. It was a warm spring's day when a lone cat wandered into their home. It was a scrawny, filthy thing riddled with disease. What a bother, the sisters thought as they looked down at the wretched creature. But they fed it milk, wiped it clean, kept it warm, and soon the cat was well again. From that day forth, it would linger wherever the sisters were, brushing up against their legs when it wanted food. If it caught a mouse, it would bring it back to boast its prowess. If it wanted loved, it would cry out to them in a mewling voice. It was a cold winter's day when the cat came into their home, let out a feeble squeak, and died. Time and again did the younger sister shake the cat's body. Time and again did the elder sister call out to it, but the cat neither moved nor responded. In that moment, the sisters felt as though they felt something break deep inside their chests. And from that day forth, they truly felt nothing at all. So, for those of you unaware, it is talking about Devila and Popola. I don't know if it goes into it in the game at all, beyond this story, but they are androids, which plays a little bit more into the next game, NieR Automata. Okay. And Blade of Treachery is because, you know, they were... well, we were the treasonous ones, technically, but we viewed them as the treasonous ones, so... Beastbane, let's see. Long, long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived 3 brothers. The middle brother was a famous general who commanded a vast army. People everywhere were terrified of his troops, for they were the most violent indeed. This general loved to make war. He enjoyed nothing more than watching cities burn and corpses pile up. And he thought of not to subjugate, but simply to destroy all that he could. His well-trained soldiers laid waste to towns, cities, and even nations for the sake of their general. And as they hewed and hacked and chopped, the general would chuckle to himself in the most vulgar of tones. The army marched on and on. Nations by the sea, nations in the mountain, nations in the desert, nations in the tundra, nations to the east, nations to the west. The general cared not. He simply wished to watch it all burn. His orders were absolute, and for years beyond counting, the soldiers killed and 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 killed. After some time, the army arrived in a certain nation. They killed its soldiers, they killed its townspeople, they killed its princesses and princes and dukes and bakers and lawyers and accountants and beggars and thieves. Eventually, a shabby general came pleading for his life with tears in his eyes. They killed him as well. However, the soldiers thought he seemed familiar and tried to recall how they might have known him. In that moment, however, the general's daughter appeared, and they became so engrossed in ending her life that never thought about the matter again. I have no idea what that's referring to. It is a set of 3 weapons, so maybe we'll get some more answers later on. Let's see, now we have Faith. That's a pretty sword. I really hope that my stream didn't just crash and go live again. I'll worry about that later. Let's see. There was once a famous poet in a land to the far, far east. Now in his twilight years, his ability had withered such that he could no longer craft a single stanza or verse. The poor poet spent every moment racked with sorrow for what he had lost, for what had been lost. But one day a monk appeared by his side, gently placed a blade in his hand, and imparted the following words. Oh dear. Kill 1 by this blade for 1 poem, and 2 for 2 in a kind, the likes of which will be more splendid than any this world has ever heard. Clinging to the monk's words, the man waited for the cover of darkness and cut down a man he encountered by the roadside. The following day he wrote the most beautiful poem, instantly reclaiming the fame and prosperity he had lost. The poet went on to kill 2 in succession. He killed 1 and wrote a poem, then killed again and wrote another, rising to almost dazzling levels of wealth and renown. But soon he became obsessed with knowing how splendid a poem he might write if he were to kill someone precious to him. He killed his wife and wrote a poem. He killed his children and wrote a poem for each. He moved through his estate, killing everyone there, writing and writing and writing and writing. Eventually he killed so many passers-by that the poems could not keep up. He would kill and then write and kill and kill and kill and kill until in the end he took his own life, no longer crafting poems at all. All that remained was a blade wet with blood. Okay, iron pipe time. This one I think might have more relevance. Why is this out of order? Alright, I guess we'll do Ancient Overlord. We'll go back to Iron Pipe when it's time to. There was once a royal sword passed down in a prodigious kingdom. Oh, I didn't actually. Hold on. There we go. There was once a royal sword passed down a prodigious kingdom that had prospered for generations. It was said that the crystal embedded upon it contained a great magic, and it should ever absorb the blood of 10,000 people, it would glow bright red and grant its wielder immortality. However, this kingdom's final ruler, known to the world as the High King, valued the continued prosperity of the kingdom he had inherited from his ancestors over any prospect of eternal life. One day, the queen, the king's dearest love, lost her life in a tragic accident. She was with a child, and the tragedy occurred shortly before the babe was to be born. Distraught with grief upon hearing the news, the aged king found himself unable to accept the prospect of his royal bloodline dying with him. In an attempt to continue the kingdom's legacy by obtaining a body without death, the now mad High King used the sword to cut down any and all subordinates or civilians unlucky enough to cross his path. If I am to be the final king, he was heard to cry, then the kingdom survives so long as I live. He killed his subjects by the dozens, the hundreds, the thousands. And with each life he stole, the crystal's life grew more radiant. But when the crystal was nearly full, the king's ailing heart proved unable to bear the burden and burst, killing him on the spot. Alas, he had just slain the pregnant woman and unborn child that were before his eyes. He would have taken exactly 10,000 lives. Alas, okay. So if he had just slain one more person, he would have gotten to 10,000. Good for him, I guess. All right. And then it's Phoenix Dagger. These are just out of order on the wiki, I guess. Alright, Phoenix Dagger. Read story. Okay. It should be, pretty good, I think. There was once a woman who promised her hand to a man who was departing for the front. Devout by nature, she spent mornings, afternoons, and evenings in prayer for the safety of her beloved. Perhaps in response to earnest pleas, one night a bird enveloped in light appeared to her in a dream and began to speak. "The man you love will surely return safely," said the bird in a beautiful voice. These words brought great comfort to the woman, and she began weeping tears of joy. "However," continued the bird, "his heart will surely not." Soon the man returned as the bird had foretold, his body covered in scars beyond counting. But as the bird had also foretold, he returned with an unfamiliar woman of extraordinary beauty at his side. Despite this, the pious woman could not contain her love for the man and ran out to meet him as he approached. Surprised, the man embraced her, then collapsed on the ground. The pious woman stood over him, a bloody dagger in one hand and a ripe crimson fruit of his heart in another. "His heart will stray no longer," she whispered amidst the gathering pool of blood, her face awash with pure ecstasy. She placed a tender kiss on her beloved's heart and offered a prayer with gratitude. NieR, why you gotta be like this? Alright. Labyrinth's Whisper. This might be a long one. So this girl had a huge set of horns on her. Beautiful horns, like a bull, just growing out of her head above her ears. I had myself a gander at where the horns met the head, and let me tell you, they were coming straight out of her skull. She was the only kid like that in the whole village. The others were all normal. The kid with horns, though. Born real small, apparently. The horns were, I mean, not the kid. And hell, they would have needed to be. Fat chance the kid's mama could have been able to push out a pair of horns huge as that. Ha ha ha. Alright. You'd think a kid like that would be bullied, right? Well, you'd be wrong. The kid was the hardest person for miles in any direction. Wasn't a man in the village who'd tangle with her. And we're talking men that ain't scared of nothing. She was the best at doing work that needed physical strength and all that. She always led the charge whenever shades attacked. And folks loved her for that, sure. But most of all, they loved her because she was always cheerful and just plain tough. But one day, this huge shade attacked the village. That was just too strong. It tore the men apart like old rags, and half the guys in the village died. The girl with horns fought with all she had, but eventually she couldn't keep up, and the shades lifted her off the ground and ripped the horns right out of her head. The way she screamed was like nothing you've heard. Sound shook the earth itself, it did. After that, things got real quiet. So I stepped outside, found both the shade and the girl dead. Each of them had wounds all over, and they were leaking blood out of just about everywhere. Don't judge me for saying this now, but it was almost beautiful. Like looking at dark red flowers in full bloom, you know? I'm judging you for that. Hope that answers your question about why folks in this village can't hear nothing. But you should know, none of us think badly of a girl making us this way. Being deaf is a hell of a sight. Better than being dead. Ha ha ha. Anyway, we've all talked over that day Anyway, we've all talked over that day to death, and we think that final scream was her way of saying goodbye. Everyone in the village is honored that the last thing we've heard was her farewell, and that's God honest truth. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to turn that off. It's honestly not making that much of a difference anyway. Cool. Cool. What is next? Fool's Embrace. Okay. That's the one I only have one for, so. Okay. I was saved from the despair that shackled me. I was free from the fate that cursed me. I was pacified from the indignation that plagued me. I was changed by the day I met you. My flames will scorch the earth below. My fangs will know the taste of blood. My claws will rend the enemies asunder. My wings will soar through the skies above. If your eyes are not to be robbed of their sight, if your skin is not to be stained with blood, if your sword is too heavy to a burden, if your lips can no longer produce speech. Even if this body is snuffed out, even if these words are stolen, until our contract is complete, until the moment of warmth is lost. This weapon's description and appearance are a reference to Drakengard upon closer inspection. It appears to take the shape of a level 1 Angelus in flight. Oh, it does! Interesting. Okay. So this is probably a reference to the Angelus Kayan pact they make. I guess. I don't know for sure, but I suppose. Which one's next? Iron Pipe. Awesome. Okay. May 21st, we finally ran out of money. Food just costs a lot more nowadays because of the war. We tried begging at the church, but they have their hands full caring for the wounded and can't spare anything. Yona's really lost a lot of weight. I wish I could get her something to eat. So this is actually a, yeah, I think this is supposed to be OG NieR's diary that he wrote. July 15th, we met a nice lady who gave us some food. At first, I thought she was homeless like us. But she said she was joining some kind of relief and supporting thing run by the government, so we decided to go with her. At least Yona seemed to be doing okay today. That nice lady from before used a book and turned into a monster. We ran away as fast as we could because I don't think she's human anymore. Anything those adults told us was a lie. They won't give us money, and they won't treat Yona's illness. Also, there's a huge wall around the city now, and we can't get out. We never should have come here. August 5th. It's so cold today, I can't believe it's summer. Hold on. Okay, the first one was August 4th, so 4 days later. Was August 1st, not 4th. It's so cold today, I can't believe it's summer. I can actually see my breath. We decided to hide from the monsters in an abandoned supermarket. We found a few old cans of food there, but now those are gone. Also, Yuna's cough just won't quit. Got a really bad feeling about this. Okay, so yeah, that gives you a little bit of backstory on how NieR managed to make his way to the Project Gestalt, Project Replicant, whichever project it is. Okay, on to Kaine's sword, which also has a story to tell. Let's see. She fears. She fears the pain, the suffering, the sadness of losing those she cherishes. Forever faint, that feeling alone remained with her. She fights. Her swordsmanship is so violent it wards off sorrow itself. Nothing can stop her vengeful blade from its grim work, not even the fountains of blood that cloud her vision. She dreams. The darkness sings to her of solitude and despair, but she resists time and again, never breaking. She presses on. Even the future that awaits has no meaning. She presses on because this is the world with NieR. So, okay. Yeah, we only ever get that after we go and, like, you know, save NieR, so. Okay, I don't know why I have all these short stories open. Let me close all those. Virtuous Contract. So this one is related to Yorha, which actually takes place after this game, so that's interesting. Pod, relay the following to command. Mission complete. Destruction of target verified. I'll return to the bunker after recovering remains. Over. Pod, relay the following to command. I have made contact with the operations target. No suspicious activity observed at present. I will continue monitoring the target. Over. Oh, excuse me. Pod, relay the following to command. I investigated the target's observational records but found no hostile behavior. Requesting target re-examination and the temporary suspension of this operation. Destruction of target verified. I make no apologies, for I promised I would not. Farewell. Interesting. I don't have much to say beyond that, unfortunately. Next should be Cruel Oath. Yep. And then I think it's on to the larger swords. I'm starting your boot sequence. As you lay resting before me, I call out to you. I want to let you sleep a little longer, but I've got my orders. I'll start by getting the brightness setting. The brightness set. I was the first thing you saw after you woke up. I hope my hair looks alright. Let's check your voice recognition settings. Can you hear me? Mine was the first voice you heard after you woke up. I have to try to keep my voice nice and deep. I don't want to sound too excited. Okay, settings should be good to go. Good morning. And so we peacefully boot up to face yet another day. Another day of killing our machine enemies. This is absolutely in the perspective of 9S from NieR Automata. Like 100%. There's like a sequence that just mirrors that perfectly, so. Oh, right. Like a third of the way through, except even more because there's less of these weapons. Kusanagi! The shield left hanging on the wall was covered in dust. The blade left in its scabbard had rusted over. The techniques I had used were forgotten. The body I was to train was left to grow soft. I had lost the will to practice discipline. I thought things would end without a single word said. I pretended not to see violence inflicted by others. I had given up, assuming things would never change. I believed there was no way to oppose such a great power. I sneered at hearts that tried to believe anyway. I laughed, thinking them brainless fools. Those were the thoughts I had taken refuge in. I had given up, believing nothing was possible in the end. I lamented the foolishness and ugliness of it all. My life had lost all meaning. I had lost sight of those who were precious to me. I could not believe in their kindness. I was unable to save them from the grief that tore at their hearts. I had forgotten the courage it takes to protect the smallest joys. I believed my words would never reach you. Man whose fiancé was spirited away by an 8-headed beast used this sword to smite his foes. Interesting. Alright, on to acts of beheading. This one's gonna be fun. There was once a ritual gathering of spirits held on the night of the 10th full moon of the year. During the ceremony, they would gather on the shores of a lake and boast to one another of all the evil deeds they had performed during the year. The first spirit took great joy in telling of the unfathomably cruel ways she had killed some of the finest soldiers in the land. Over the years, she had transformed her shape into a lady of the night and called out to various men, then tore off every last piece of their body when they came to her bed. The soldiers, ashamed their skills could not save them, shed bitter tears as they died, and the spirit claimed they were the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. The next spirit regaled the others with a story of cunning and guile. One night she threw a small boy into a bog. When his older sister came to rescue him, she too sank into the murk. These two were followed by their parents, then other siblings, then extended relatives, until finally every member of the village was sleeping at the bottom of the bog. When the spirit finished her story, she was so beside herself with glee that she did not even notice the saliva that dripped down her chin. Nervously, the smallest spirit in the group stepped forward to address the crowd. "I am the most amazing of us all," cried the oft-ridiculed spirit at the top of her lungs. "For it was I who thrust all living creatures into terror's deepest depths. The other spirits, unable to contain their mirth, collapsed to the ground and rolled about, and their laughter did not cease until the horrifying monster the small spirit summoned from the demon world devoured each and every last one of them. At least it had a happy ending. Sort of. I hope people are okay with this. I like little blurbs like this. I'm gonna check the documents we have as well, just to see I'm not missing anything. We've been together since we were born. We're together when we eat, when we sleep, and then when we dream. We share everything. We share the milk that we get from Mommy and the nice things Daddy says to us. But we're not together when we die. Daddy took me and cut off my head, and Mommy took my sister and cut off her head. But that's okay. Our blood got all mushed up in a big axe, so now we can be together forever. What the fuck? Why? Yoko Taro, are you okay? I don't think he wrote every single one of these, but are you okay, Yoko Taro? Vile axe. Okay. The girl stares at the sight before her. Her father lies nearby, carved into pieces by countless blades. Her mother also lies dying, as well as her newborn baby brother. All had suffered terribly in their final moments, and the girl can do nothing but cry as she stares at the three soldiers who have murdered her only family. Years later, the girl reappears, her visage made strong by her vow for revenge. The first soldier has grown so fat that the buttons on his uniform can barely contain his girth. The girl approaches him and claims to know of an easy way to lose weight. On the pretext of an examination, she has him lie down on a bed before suddenly hacking off his arms and legs with an axe. The remaining lump of soldier screams and attempts to wriggle away, but the girl pins him down and tells him he still has parts he can lose. Sometime later, the girl sits in front of the now rounded torso and smiles. "There we are," she whispered. Look how nice and slim you are." Ooh. The second soldier is a peerless Lothario. Each night a new woman is invited to his manor to spend the night. The girl breaks into his home and kills the woman at his side, then uses her axe to hack off his manhood as he trembles and begs for mercy. Beautiful. The third soldier has long since left the service and is now living a quiet life with his family in a remote village. After they have fallen asleep, the girl takes her axe and cleaves the support beams of the house, causing it to collapse. She then sets fire to the wreckage, creating a great bonfire that can be seen for miles in all directions. Suddenly, the soldier's son crawls in the wreckage, covered from head to toe in terrible burns. As his eyes fall on the girl who has murdered his his axe. She hands him her axe and flees into the darkness of the night, never to be seen again. Okay. Alright, that was the Vile Axe, I guess. Beast Lord, which I think is another part of a storyline. Long ago in a faraway kingdom, there were 3 brothers. The eldest brother was a king who ruled over the nation entire. He was a most terrifying king, feared by all. Each day, the king would select one of his subjects to execute as a sacrifice. This day, he chopped off a mother's head and forced the family to watch. The head spun 3 times as it flew through the air before landing next to the head of her son, who the king had previously killed. Oh, the horror of it all. But the king merely watched the sight unfold before him and laughed in a most unsettling voice. One day the king contracted an illness most dire, one which caused his body to rot while he was still alive. But though diseased, the king would still drag his decaying flesh to the executions all the same. His retainers dared not defy their king, so they continued to kill day after day after day. In the end, the king rotted and died. His was a disgusting, foul, rotten death, but his retainers continued carrying out executions before the king's rotted corpse every day. Every day killing. Every day the rotted king and the rotted retainers and the rotted citizens and the rotted you. What? I don't want to read like any of this anymore. I'm gonna, I just don't want to. Wow. Sorry, just taking care of something really quick. There we go. Okay. We're on to Iron Will now. Good, okay. I raised the cry of my birth. The sound of heated iron taking shape, a steel mallet striking my form. Born to deliver karmic justice, I enter the world under the careful watch of spark and flame that give light to the gloom. I am a blade born of a deafening roar. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I grant death. I transform the dread and screams of my foes to elation. I festoon my iron skin with their viscera. When I rob them of life, I am filled with dark joy. When I crush them beneath me, I find meaning in my birth. And I continue to kill, that I might share this delight with all. I kill and kill and kill and kill. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I am shattered. At battle and blood's end, my body is torn asunder by malice and hate. Today I again emerge the red dragon in battle, and magical forces meet leaping iron fangs to create a bloodstorm. My steel cursed, I sink into the slumbering black. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I dream. It is a dream of a small butterfly. In it, the butterfly is caught in a light rain, struggling against it with all its might. In the darkest of nights, I behold a dream that will never come true. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. Sure. Okay. Phoenix Sword. This story is of a long time ago. Oh, sorry, not time. This is a story of a time long ago. That's it. There was once a beautiful bird with resplendent feathers that lived a quiet life deep in the forest. One day, a lost child wandered into the woods. He came from a place of famine and had been abandoned in the forest as a way to reduce the number of mouths to feed. Taking pity on the feeble, starving child, the beautiful bird plucked one of its own feathers and gave it to him. When he returned home, his family was overjoyed by the feather and permitted him to live with them once more. Hearing the child's story, one person after another descended on the forest to tell the bird how poor and unfortunate they were. Each time, the bird would pluck a feather and give it away. Pluck a feather and give it away until it had no more to give, and its once beautiful visage had become shabby beyond recognition. But the shabby bird had no regrets. One day, the original child appeared before the shabby bird, which was featherless and freezing in the cold. He had come seeking a bird with resplendent feathers that he may repay the creature's earlier kindness. Overjoyed, the shabby bird said to the child, "It is I you seek. If I might beg a favor, would you hold me to your chest and warm my freezing body?" Sparing a single glance at the shabby bird, the child called it a liar and cut it down with a large blade. He then roasted the bird and ate every last part, and set out anew to find the beautiful bird who had once saved his life. So that story is almost exactly like that fish with the colorful scales that kept giving its scales away to its friends, be like, "Oh, here's all my beautiful scales," and then like he had the one left, but like everyone had a colorful scale and it was like all nice and stuff, except that story didn't end nicely. Great. Labyrinth song. Oh wait, another labyrinth one, okay. It was a beast that lived in a cavern's depths, most untouched depths. A cavern's deepest, most untouched depths. It had massive horns, a body like steel, breath of scorching fire. The peace-loving villagers hated this monstrous beast with the head of a bull and the body of a human. They feared it, and soon the beast came to be known as the Minotaur of the Labyrinth. Contrary to its terrifying appearance, the Minotaur was exceptionally kind. Not only did it refrain from harming other creatures, it took great care not to trample flowers beneath its oafish feet as it walked. Indeed, the reason it lived so deep inside the cavern was to help avoid frightening the villagers. One day, a lost girl wandered into the beast's cavern. Frightened by the sight of it, she cried so hard she eventually passed out, which left the beast in quite the quandary. "I have no choice," the beast finally decided. "I must take the poor thing back to the village, for her mother and father would be terribly worried." This isn't going to end well. 2 days after the girl vanished, her panicked parents found her sleeping soundly in front of their home. On the ground was a short distance away was the body of the Minotaur. It had been impaled by several swords, and the blood scattered around it held an almost otherworldly quality. Yet there was no indication the beast had attacked the girl. In fact, it looked as though it had been trying to place as much distance between itself and her as possible, so as not to dirty her with its blood. Almost as if it didn't want her to be afraid. And then, having curled up to make itself as small as possible, the monster died. Okay. Thanks. Fool's Lament. Oh, that wasn't the right button. That's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. There we go. Memoir, June 6, 2003, approximately 1,500 hours. A massive white humanoid, initially called the Weapon, but since named the Giant, falls from the sky above Tokyo's Shinjuku ward, inflicting tremendous damage. At the same time, a large red creature, henceforth referred to as the Dragon, appears and engages the Giant in combat, though both the nature of its attacks and their utility remain unclear. As the self-defense force contemplates methods by which they might attack the target, the government establishes a Bureau of Emergency Countermeasures. Memoir, June 12, 2003, approximately 1,600 hours. The Giant, which was locked in combat with the Dragon, suddenly begins to collapse for reasons unknown. The Dragon is then shot down by the 6th Division, 303rd Squadron of the Air Self-Defense Force. No official record exists of who issued the orders to attack the Dragon. Work has begun to retrieve the remains of both the Giant and the Dragon, but no official verification has ever been made regarding which organization performed the retrieval. Memoir, December 2003. The first case of white chlorination syndrome is confirmed in Tokyo's Shinjuku ward. Memoir, July 2004. Humans continue to turn violent due to white chlorination syndrome, with fighting growing increasingly intense in infected regions. With the cause of the disease still unclear, the infected are isolated, and violent riots are suppressed by force. Main thoroughfares are sealed, and rail transportation is halted, later leading all of Shinjuku being sealed off. At this time, the prospect of asking the American military for non-official intervention is considered, but the government defers. Meanwhile, research begins on meso particles obtained from the giant and the dragon, as well as the countermeasures for white chlorination syndrome. This research ultimately leads to the founding of Project Gestalt a decade later. So yeah, this is all stuff like this is the ending of Drakengard 1, the joke ending, mind you, where the Queen Beast and Angelus fall through a portal to the NieR world, are killed, and their bodies start disintegrating, and like if you breathe in the stuff, then you start becoming you start turning white, and you white chlorination syndrome. Your body fails, and you basically become a zombie or salt. You just dissolve into salt. Virtuous Treaty. Oh, this is a short one. The white katana, said to have been forged by a swordsmith in a distant eastern land, presented as an offering to the nobility, it was apparently never used in combat. That was the description that I just read, not the story. Here we go. My family has decided I am to be betrothed. I cannot resist, for I am but a tool. The man who became my husband possessed terribly cold eyes, but he too is a mere tool to be used so his family might prosper. He treats me well in his own way, but I was still unable to properly respond to his kindness. One night he calls me to his chambers. Still thinking him a kind man, I go to him willingly. As he greets me, I stare at the beautiful white katana he holds in his hand. Oh my goodness. Okay, we just gotta get through the spears now. Thank goodness. Transients. They were a frighteningly diligent people. They would clear forests and hunt animals even when they had no need. They developed techniques to preserve food they were unable to eat and earned more money than could ever be spent. Yet there was not a single one among them who did not accept these practices, for none knew of any other customs. They were frighteningly studious people. Their grasp of calculations and science exceeded any pretense of practicality. They would repeatedly engage in spirited debates regarding predictions of the future. They invented an increasingly difficult language and created an infinite series of complex machines, which they would immediately discard. But there was not a single one among them who looked back, for none knew of any reason for concern. They were a frighteningly obedient people. Without ever being told, they would greet the morning sun at the same time in the same clothes while trolling away in the same cramped rooms. Yet there was not a single one among them who complained, for none knew what else they should be doing. Having worked far too much, the people lost their forests and took to living atop the sand. Having grown far too intelligent, the people conversed in a language that no other peoples could comprehend. Having grown far too well behaved, the people were unable to defy the laws that would be established one after another, and came to live as their lives enclosed by tens of thousands of rules. So this is obviously about the people of the mask and like how they would they got rid of the forest and they're too smart for their own good, all that jazz. Spear of the Usurper. That's way down here for some reason. Okay. In a far-off land, there was a man who acted as a double for the nation's prince, performing duties in his stead as was required. One day, having finished his work, he returned to the prince's chambers to find the princess lying naked in his bed. As the double stood in place, dumbfounded, The man who shared his face sneered and invited him to join them. My goodness. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Interesting. The double loved the prince's sister, and he felt that the princess, who admired him as her brother, loved him as well. Indeed, she was the only thing that kept him going in an otherwise miserable job, for the prince was a most despicable man indeed. Eventually it came to pass that a war was to be waged under the prince's command. The night before it was to begin, the prince took his double aside and promised him a night with his sister if he could bring him the head of the enemy general. And as the prince chuckled with delight, the double took up his spear and thrust it through the prince's gaping mouth. The war over, the prince made a queen of his sister and would inflict wounds upon his own face and throat in an act in which would occur every time she called out to him using her brother's name. Before long, the prince was found dead, his face burned and a spear thrust through his open mouth. The man's face, hideously burned, was the very picture of serenity. The Devil Queen. I feel like this might be about the Queen Beast, but we'll see. The story takes place in a small country at around the same latitude as the northernmost member of a nation of city-states that are part of a region with a village that is attempting to establish a trade agreement with another village on a tiny island in the ocean south of a kingdom that used to have an alliance with the Republic next to a kingdom where a queen resided. That was all one fucking sentence. It was asked by the owner of a shop frequented by a wet nurse who looked after the child born of an adulterous relationship by the wife of the master of a foolish servant who fell in love with a beautiful queen who appears in poems of a minstrel who was loved by the country's king's wife's little brother's cousin's big brother's son-in-law's foster child. I'm gonna get lightheaded reading these. Where does one store the throne that was supposed to be adorned with decorations crafted from the materials of the handle of the lid of a pot that is the same weight as tableware that is the same color as a weather vane on a neighboring house that can be seen from a peephole of a door in the reflection of a mirror with an ornamental frame decorated with silver carvings engraved with the fragment that was made when creating the whetstone used to polish the kitchen knife? I already hate this. The person who heard that question was the wife's husband's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom's little brother's nephew's father's mother's husband's bride's niece's father-in-law's wife's husband's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom's little brother's nephew's father's mother's husband's bride's niece's father-in-law's wife's husband's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom's little brother's nephew's father's mother's husband's bride's niece's father-in-law's wife's father's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom's little brother's nephew's father's nephew's brother father's mother's husband's bride's niece's father-in-law's wife's husband's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom's little brother's nephew's father's, and I guess it just keeps going from there because it just kind of ends. That was not at all what I was expecting. Sunrise. Let's go. In the distant past of a land known as the Golden Isle, there existed a sword crafted from every kind of metal and precious gem in the land. So sharp was its edge that even the slightest cut would leave an unsealable wound that eventually drained the victim of both their blood and life. In a strange turn of fate, the sword eventually ended up in the hands of a destitute woman who sold her body to get by. Ooh. Oh. The sword was as long as she was tall, and she could not wield it effectively, so she instead slid it between her sheets as the prize for the man who used her. The sword was so sharp that I felt no pain when cut, and soon died without even knowing what was happening. The woman would then help herself to their coin, causing their own purse to swell. Making use of her gains, the woman dressed most beautifully and soon had acquired every kind of metal, precious gem in the land. But it was not enough for her, so she decided to melt down the sword and obtain the gems hidden within, a desire made manifest by the sword's beauty. Thus decided, the woman heaved the sword to her shoulders and made for the blacksmith. But on the way to the smith, the sheer weight of the sword caused the woman to lose her balance. She fell from a bridge into the river below. So unshakably was the woman's greed that she could not bring herself to relinquish her grip upon it. The woman's pale and bloodless corpse was found washed up on the riverside the following day. So yeah, I guess she fell on the, she either fell on the spear, or she, like, grabbed it by the blade instead of letting it go. Beast Curse. Can't wait to see what happens to the third brother. Long, long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived three brothers. The youngest was a terrifically lazy lad who spent most of his days fast asleep. However, he was every bit as cheerful as he was lethargic, and so was beloved by all. When the nation had beset upon by the most contagious disease, the youngest son did not but laze about the palace, humming to himself all the while. But his cheerful music comforted the townspeople, so instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what a fine young man," they would say. "Just the finest young man you will ever find." When the nation became embroiled with war, the youngest son did not but laze about the palace, telling storied of the good old days all the while. But his fascinating stories helped the townspeople forget the horrors of war. So instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what an amazing young man," they would say. "Just the most amazing young man you will ever find." So I think story 2 is supposed to be like his brother that was beset by like a rotting disease, and this one's his brother that was just fascinated with war. One day, the youngest son was lazing about the palace as usual when he realized he could no longer hear the voices of the townspeople, and he wondered why that might be. He lazed and he wondered. He lazed and he wondered. He lazed and he wondered. Eventually, all that wondering tired him out, and he went to sleep. That is why, in a nation where all have perished from war and disease, the only sound that can be heard is the soft snoring of a young man. It is a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness. Well, I guess if one citizen of a nation's happy, that's good enough. Captain's Holy Spear. I have barely touched this one, it seems. The captain trembles, life under his feet. Tramples. The captain, not trembles. The captain tramples life under his feet. The screams of others transform into songs of joy. Flowing tears change from despair into darkness. Conflict beckons revenge and gives way to new solitude. That's literally it. Okay. Dragoon Lance. They're so out of order on the wiki. Let's go. Okay. He had grown old. The king's dauntless gaze had lost its light, and his stalwart body had grown soft. What's more, every ounce of fear and vanity he had gained with age now gnawed away at his heart. The king was afraid, so he repeatedly ordered the invasion of neighboring countries as to hold on to the lands he had been sworn to protect. The king was afraid, so he tried to take everything through violence and oppression, for he no longer trusted his own advisors and vassals. There was a dragon that he had sworn fealty to the king. This wingless creature would do anything the king commanded, for he had been saved by the king once and sworn to repay his debt with his very soul. Even if the king's orders were folly and madness, the dragon would follow them to the last, for his king was justice itself. One day the dragon requested an audience with the king. He was covered in blood from his latest victim, the king's own son, who the regent had ordered the dragon to assassinate. The bloody dragon hung its head low and said, "I cannot defy your orders, O king, but nevertheless, can I obey them any longer? I beg of you, kill me and grant me release." This is a tale of a foolish king and a wingless dragon in a nation that fell centuries ago. Even now, the wind blows ceaseless across the grassland. It blows just as it did on the day king and dragon made their pact. I think this is in reference to Drakengard? Most likely. I don't know for sure, but it sounds very Drakengard. Phoenix Spear. Phoenix Spear, here we go. There was once a warrior in a frontier nation who feared not death. He was so brawny and powerful, arrows said to bounce off harmlessly off his flesh. For this reason, the warrior always threw himself onto the thick of any battle. One day, a beautiful bird appeared before the warrior in a dream. The bird commended the warrior for his valor in battle and offered to grant him one of two wishes. The bird could bring an end to war and grant peace to all the world, or the bird could bequeath the warrior an immortal body. The warrior chose immortality. From that day forth, the warrior's exploits were nothing short of astonishing. He mowed down his foes with uncountable numbers. No amount of arrows or swords or axes could slow his march. The king showered him with titles and gifts, and for a time it seemed the warrior's days of stunning glory would continue until the end of time. But conflict did not cease. Eventually the warrior's frontier nation was invaded so often that the flames of war left the entire country in ruin. Crops withered, people perished, and before long there were none left who even knew the warrior's name. The shattered warrior was tortured day and night by endless starvation, but his body refused to let him die. So he sought out the bird again and pleaded for it to grant him release. "Ah, but you cannot die," chirped the bird in response. "You will never die." Okay. Labyrinth shout. One more labyrinth. She was a hopelessly slow woman, impossibly clumsy. It would take her 3 times longer than anybody else to accomplish a task. She walked slowly, talked slowly, and even blinked slowly. So slow was the woman that she could not even draw water to anyone's satisfaction. The children began calling her the cow and laughing when she passed by, but she would only chuckle in response. I don't think I like this. She was a hopelessly dull woman. When she fell and drew blood, she would carry on as though in a daze. Though coins often dropped from her purse, she never managed to retrieve one. And if someone spoke ill of her to her face, it would take hours for her to realize the insult. When the children saw her, they would hurl rocks with glee. She was a hopelessly foolish woman. One summer, when the village was suffering a most terrible drought, the woman vanished. The children all starved to death. The villagers spent no time worrying about the woman who ran away. 2 days later, rain fell and the village was saved, but the woman did not return. And on the 20th day, a shaman arrived at the village. The shaman held a spear with a pair of horns that was oiled and sticky to the touch. So heavy was the spear that none could wield it effectively. Although, even if they managed to lift it, the weapon was incompatible with piercing through anything at all. The shaman forced it on the people and left it with them, but none dared approach it. And to this day, it quietly summers in a forgotten corner of the village. I don't know if it was supposed to be like the spear was like made from the woman or something. I don't think the story is very clear. Okay, 2 more. I'm hoping this one has something good for us. This is a story of a sorrowful prince, a tale of a kingdom in a time long past. Attacked by the forces of darkness, the nation was annihilated in a single night by inhuman soldiers with red eyes and a group of black dragons so numerous they blotted out the sky. Having infiltrated the king's castle, the black dragons visited upon the king and a queen. The black dragons visited upon the king and queen a most horrible fate. King being... Okay, so this is Drakengard lore. It is said that their stomachs were torn open by black dragons' mighty claws, and the very floor they stood upon became a sea of blood. The prince and princess, though racked with sorrow, escaped to live another day. The prince, spurred by the shock of witnessing his parents' tragic end, became consumed with the desire to exact revenge. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be Kaim and his sister. This is the story of a terrifying prince, a history of conflict in the long ago. Obsessed with laying low his hated enemies, the prince indulges in his vengeance day after day after day. Even when faced with foes who take heel, he chases them down and tears them apart from groin to gullet. The carnage is so horrific, his fellow soldiers whisper tales of how they saw him mutilating bodies that were already long dead. Perhaps because no commander can control him, the prince is sent to an even harsher battle. This is a story of a fooled prince, the whereabouts of fate in the long ago. The prince's next battleground is a castle with that guards a goddess. He lays waste to all before him, hacking arms, cleaving legs, rendering stomachs, gouging eyes, separating head from shoulders. But soon the injured prince can no longer tell the difference between the blood that rains down and that which comes from his own wounds, and he collapses in a heap. As he writhes in pain, coughing up gouts of hot blood, he lifts his gaze and sees a hated dragon standing before him. This is the story of a mad prince, a meeting with a dragon in the long ago. An injured red dragon stands before the prince, and though it is a different color than the beast that killed his parents, he feels the need to avenge himself upon it regardless. But as he raises his sword, the dragon says, "In exchange for both our souls, human, I will save your life and grant you powers." After some thought, the prince makes a pact. It matters not to him that he may lose the deal that involves a dragon. All he cares about is he can continue swinging his blade. So he swings and swings and swings, and with each blow, his heart fills with a desire as black as the deepest night. So that's like the beginning of Drakengard 1, where Kaim makes a pact with Angelus to save himself and start using magic. And then last one, finally, Virtuous Dignity. Here we go. There was once existed a cursed spear whose holder would inevitably meet a violent end. Eventually, the weapon found its way to a mechanical automaton that possessed no soul, and though it was a mere machine, the spear delivered countless deaths upon it all the same. The automaton warred against mechanical weapons much like itself. It was a cursed death, burned to death, thrown into death from great heights, yet each time the automaton was reborn and thrown into battle anew. The war became fiercer and more complicated. There were self-detonation, suicide attacks, false operations, and betrayals by companions. Indeed, it seemed the soulless automaton that it was inhabiting was a kind of infinite. Indeed, it seemed to the soulless automaton that it was inhabiting a kind of infinite, cynical hell. Cyclical hell. Oh, whatever. Finally, the automaton died a final time in order to save his trusted companions, an act that precluded the possibility of ever returning to life again. But as the pangs of agony spread through its body, the automaton found its final rest. So that's more automata stuff, I believe. And that's all the weapon stuff. That might just be everything. That was a lot of reading. That was like close to an hour. I didn't think it would take that long. If you're still here, thank you for being here, I guess. Jeez. I don't know if... I I think I'm done for the night. I don't have anything else I want to like start right now or do right now. Yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed NieR. I'll probably keep playing this myself a little bit, doing like side quests and whatnot. I might even just start up a new file just to make sure I do all the side quests as I go, and like get like a guide going or something, or find a guide from. I'm not gonna make a guide. I'm gonna find a guide for myself, is what I mean. Yeah, that's it. This is a great game. If you haven't played it, I highly suggest it if you can handle the content in it. It does get very bloody. It does get very depressing. It's not a fun game. It's very much a tragedy in like every sense, except for the final ending, which like, yeah, I don't know if I like it, to be honest. I feel like it takes away from the original, but I mean, I'm not a game designer. Who am I to judge? I'm sure people love it. I can't wait to see people's reaction to it. So, let's see who's online. I thought I saw one person online, but then it turned out to be someone else. It's like I want to raid people, but then it feels like a commitment, and I don't really feel like committing to anything right now because I'm so tired from earlier. Oh well, I think I'm just gonna call it. And also, I don't know how much of that was captioning because I had that page minimized, so that's great. It's fine, I guess. Whatever. I think I'm just gonna end tonight. If you're still here, thank you for joining me. I'll be live tomorrow at probably 10 in the morning, playing some Sonic Adventure, specifically Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut on Steam, which is a port of a port of a port, and it is a time. So. Hope to see you then. Monday, I might be doing like a card opening because I think I should be getting some cards in the mail tomorrow. And then, I don't know, either more Among Us or I might start something like Sea of Thieves or Batman Arkham Origins because Spooky requested it. So, anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.